All right. Hello, everybody. Since we're here, we're ready. This is a surprise impromptu stream anyway. We're just going to start things right off because, as we're being told, yes, I had things going a little bit late because, wasn't expecting to be streaming tonight, but the discussion about this topic has taken off so much today that when I was asked or it was suggested to me that I do this, I thought, yeah, why not? To answer your question, J-Man, if you want to continue watching on Twitch, I would actually appreciate that. I am very close to the 3 average viewers on Twitch. So any viewers I can get on Twitch right now, I'm appreciative of. I think I'm at 2.64, so getting close. But that's not what's important tonight. Tonight, I mean, that's never what's important, to be honest, as long as I'm helping people. But tonight we're discussing this apparent change to commanders for next seasons moving forward. This apparently next season, regardless of whether or not you choose good or evil factions, you're going to be able to use both good and evil commanders together. I mean, it doesn't feel like it needs to be said how ridiculous an idea this is, but it's been confirmed, apparently, that this is the plan, which is why I've been so vocal on it today on the Discord server. That's why I put the video out earlier. That's why I'm doing the stream now, because I do feel like it's a really important issue. I think it's going to do so much harm to the game if they move forward with it. And we're not even a month into the game yet. This is the part that's got me just baffled, is that they're doing something so potentially risky so early when they're, and it seems like it seems like it's trying to answer the balance issues. But there are so many better ways of doing it. This is the laziest way you could even attempt to do it, and it's not going to fix the balance issues. It's going to create a whole world of new issues. Hashtag stop the change indeed. Mentioned 2 alternatives in party chat. Awesome. See, that's just not true, though, Jordanus. Agzok is a great commander. Lurtz is a great commander. Ugthak can do a ton of burn damage. Khaldun is a great commander. Sharku can be used extremely well. These are tier 1 and tier 2 commanders that I can name off the top of my head that I remember people having major successes with. Yes, it's harder to figure out the evil factions right now because people have had more time with the good factions, and so all of the kind of best decisions and best practices for the good factions have already been figured out. We're still taking the time to figure out all of the evil commanders, what their skills do, what all the troops do, and how they're all best used together. But just from what we saw in the last beta and the amount of success that evil factions were able to have in the last beta tells me that it's not a problem with the evil commanders and units in general. Yes, there could be some buffs made and some changes, some balance done, but I don't think that's the core of the issue. It honestly feels like it's player numbers and faction populations that are causing more of the issues. Brad the Bard. One of the big things that people are thinking is things like Theoden with the Fallen, Arwen with just about anything, but people have been talking Arwen with Mama Kills. But actually, army buffs What do you mean, Jordanus? The good side commanders generally provide more benefit for their units, whereas evil commanders are generally looking out more for themselves, which all fits in line, lore-wise. Good commanders are more selfless, evil commanders are more selfish. So you're going to see evil commanders that do more individual damage, but don't provide as much protection or avoidance or things like that to their army as good commanders. Whereas good commanders, you see more support for your army and less personal damage from the commander. That's how the balance has worked. Alex, if you change servers, do you lose all your commanders in progress? Yes. You can't carry an account from server to server. That's going to be, preface that with at the end of a season, once servers merge, then I don't know how that works, but you still can't move to a completely new or different server with an account. Yeah, Tyler, I agree that it's going to do so much harm to the game, in my opinion. There are other issues that need to be solved before even thinking about something like this. Damn, guys, Mordor is attacking me with Aragorn again. Classic Mordor, indeed. It would at least negate the, in addressing King Dead's point here about Legolas and Gimli. It would completely negate the dwarf and elf synergy that they have, yeah. Yeah, Daly, we were kind of having this discussion the other day, weren't we? And I noticed that you're not on the same side as most of us. You actually are in favor of the change. And hello. Hey, Cody, how's it going? Give evil faction commanders worth using or allow all factions to use all commanders. Evil factions have commanders worth using, Cody. There are plenty of good evil commanders. I can name a bunch just off the top of my head. Lurtz, Kamul, Grima, Shadow, Sharku, Khaldun, Ugthak, Agzok, Gothmog, Gorbag. There's just, and I didn't even get into tier 3s. Those are all tier 1 and tier 2 commanders from the evil side that either I personally had success with or I saw many other people have success with. It's not a case of the commanders being bad. I'm not saying people don't know how to use them. I'm just saying that it does take more time on the evil side to figure out the same kind of synergies that have already been discovered from the good factions. I turned that down the other day. What the hell, man? It didn't give me as bad of a heart attack as it usually does, but man, I swear I turned that down the other day so that didn't happen anymore. There's always got to be something, doesn't there? Even a surprise stream can't just, go like smooth or whatever. I'm going to do the whole switch to Twitch on the Streamlabs dashboard and go to the thing. That's still at 24%. That's weird. Well, I hope that was louder for me than it was for you guys then. I'll be back in just a second here as soon as I make sure that all these things drop. Jesus. I'm sorry, guys. What was that? God damn it. Okay, I'm turning these off. I don't even know what that one was. Was that Just a host again? God damn it. Okay, well, that was coming through for me. Please tell me that didn't deafen all you guys. God damn it. I don't even know what that one was. I was in a different screen looking at something else. So I don't even know which one there I got to adjust. But yeah. I mean, as you guys can tell, like, I'm kind of out of sorts over this one. It's got me very concerned. And hey, here we go. We got some people talking up Gorbag. I wouldn't like to merge both. We need to find more commanders for the evil faction. Oh, brace yourselves. I'm hosting him. There we go. At least King Dead gave some warning. Oh boy, Tyler Curves taking it to the next level. All right, let's I'm going to transition on over here. Actually try and get some stuff done, I guess. I don't know if I am going to be taking these guys over to Mordor with me next season. I might as well get them as pimped out as I can, eh? Because, yeah, I mean, Galadriel with Mordor isn't going to be crazy. Like, I don't know, Aragorn with trolls isn't going to be nuts. I don't know. Like, just, this is so bad. But I honestly can't see them going through with it now. The amount of hate that they're getting over this, it honestly baffles me. And if they actually do go through with it, I will be extremely surprised. What am I trying to... 'Cause I don't even know. Alright, I'll just try turning that down a little maybe, and then hopefully nothing else like that comes on and deafens anyone. Sorry, I was just taking a look at all my alert volume levels again, trying to make sure that I don't have anything out of whack. My question to you from Daily Fresh is, what would you rather they do if someone wants to play evil but has spent, not necessarily daily, but again, as I've addressed before, it is a conscious decision. If you invest in the good side and then try to play evil, that's a conscious decision that you're making to change sides. Why would you expect to carry anything over? You don't necessarily have to spend $500 on the evil side, but yeah, your progression on that side will be slower if you don't. I haven't spent any money on my evil account, and I only have 4 commanders right now. But that's going to be 4 more commanders that I can start with next season as an evil player than it would be if I hadn't started an evil account at all. You know, this is the part that, and because that's how I understood it to work, was that as long as you unlocked commanders, you would have them for the respective side you chose to play each season. So I wanted to start an evil account just to unlock a few commanders to have any kind of starting point rather than absolute zero. But that's because I had thought it through, and again, everything made sense to me. It was all logical. And it was like, okay, well, there's a solution for me. Sure, the progression is going to be slower if I don't invest money, but I can at least start. People thinking that they're starting from absolute zero are just oversimplifying it. If you start from absolute zero, that's your choice. But again, it's all a choice. Why would you want, and the other thing I don't get is, why would people want to unlock everything within the first 2 or 3 months, or 4 months, or 6 months? over the course of, like, let's say 2 seasons, if they last 3 months each. I mean, I kind of enjoy the fact that it may take me 3 or 4 or 5 seasons to actually unlock everything. And you know what? I'm going to feel very, very rewarded by the time I do. It's going to feel like I've earned something. Not like I just rushed through and have nothing to do or nothing to actually show for it or nothing to be proud of, because I felt like it was all just given to me with nothing. You know, like, that's not what I'm playing it for. I enjoy the strategy, which is one of the things I've been pushing, the strategic depth. And removing any kind of exclusivity for commanders especially removes so much of that depth. It turns it into such a min-max game about the meta. There's going to be absolute commanders you have to use against certain other commanders. There's not going to be much room for experimentation. Nothing's going to make sense. They are going to have to do something at that point with the units, because, as people are also saying, what if you are playing an evil faction right now and you have your evil commanders unlocked, like Maltok or Sharku, and then you take them over to the good side? Well, yeah, they have bonuses for wargs, but they don't have bonuses for mounted units. Whereas Eowyn and Theoden, they have bonuses for mounted units. They don't give a shit whether they're wargs or horses. So that's not a fair trade-off. You know, like, and that's just one kind of issue that I'm thinking of. And so their solution there is either to change the commander skill or change the troops. And maybe at that point, is it going to lead to us being able to use good and evil troops together as well? And we can just unlock all buildings on all accounts and it doesn't matter? Good faction, evil factions are not even a thing anymore because you just use whatever you've got. Like, as everyone else is saying, like, if this goes through, I'm quitting. There's no way I'm playing this game if it continues. I'll find something else to continue the channel on, because this is ridiculous if it goes through. But as I said, Daily, if you decide to start at 0 playing as evil, that's a decision that you've made because you didn't invest any time into starting early. You can choose to start an evil account right now and have at least a few commanders under your belt to start with. You can increase their respect levels a little bit. You can get some gear for them. And at that point, you're not starting at 0. That's one of the big points I'm trying to get across to people, is that no, you are not starting at 0 just because you don't have access to everything all the time. Matt in a Hat 42, I love that comment there. Having a game of strategy and thinking and then destroying that. Yeah. AJ is going to feel like he collected all the Infinity Stones. Yeah, Cody, and that's one of the other, like, I do agree with that, and that's one of the issues I have. Like you say, you know, if we're min-maxing the game, no one's going to use evil commanders for the most part. Like, there's maybe some T3s on the evil side that you could justify using. You know, maybe Lurts would still get in there. But for the most part, people would just be using good. Yeah, J-Man, why are the devs focused on merging good and evil when they've zero incentive for PvP, when there are when there are other major balance issues, when there's an imbalance in factions? There are so many other major changes that need to be addressed, in my opinion. Yet they're going to focus their efforts on merging commanders. What is the big change in question? Asks Jack James. So Jack, the big change is that in seasons moving forward, apparently, regardless of whether or not you choose good or evil, good and evil commanders will be able to be used together. Daily Fresh, same to you, man. Thanks for your thoughts on the matter. As you said, I mean, hey, we agree to disagree, and we are allowed to do so. I love you too, bro. Thank you for your support. And it's the same to anyone else. I do get heated sometimes or a little passionate about topics like these, but I don't want to be insulting or anything like that here with anyone. I've tried to say in all my messages about this tonight that I welcome all viewpoints on matters like these, because I do think it's important to see and hear both sides of the argument. Especially in something like this, there are a lot of players from the beta putting their opinions in on this, and who knows, maybe we've forgotten what it's like to play as a newer player type thing. And so getting those kind of opinions in, or the opinions of purely free-to-play players, just opinions across the board, is healthy. I like having healthy, open discussion like that, and so I don't want to make anyone feel, however. It's an open discourse. Riot! Rah! Yeah, Brad the Bard, I agree with you there. Like, to me, the game is less than a month old. This feels like something you would do, maybe 6 months or a year into a game's life cycle if it felt like it needed like a major shakeup. But, it's like, are you serious? This is your first instinct? When people start talking about balance issues, your first instinct is to just say, screw it. We're going to just do away with all the base mechanics of the game, really, and just say, screw the lore, screw good and evil, just have at it. And like you said, because they know that regardless, they're going to make money. That's why I did say that I'm in support of boycotting the store until this change is done away with, because I feel like the only way that we will change their mind is if we hit them in the wallet and hit the profit line. So, and Cody, I do agree with you. I don't want you to think that I don't agree with this point that you're saying about just like a general balance, because yes, that's something that even I was speaking about in the betas, especially last beta when I was playing Evil. I was very outspoken about the fact that I didn't like the wargs. I didn't like the Easterling spearmen. I didn't like the Easterling mounted units. I didn't like any of the Easterling units, really. I think the Corsairs were the only ones I actually liked. But yeah, I just found the spearmen, the horses I found too slow, because they were slower than wargs, but wargs did less damage. The spearmen just did not do enough damage, I found. So that I agree with. There are some changes that need to be made to evil units, some evil commanders. I do feel like a lot of evil commanders are really strong, but there is something lacking with evil commanders. I will admit that. I don't know if it's that there's such a heavy focus on burn and poison damage and not enough on healing and avoidance. I feel like that might make a big difference, because if you look at a lot of good commanders, they don't do that same kind of focus damage, but they replace that with damage mitigation or healing or avoidance. And on the evil side, you don't really see that as much. You see a lot of madness and stuns. You see a lot of, like I said, burn, poison, focus damage. You see a lot of damage increases. But you don't see as much damage mitigation. You don't see as much defense. You don't see as much healing or avoidance. And those are things that I think are bigger issues. Those things, along with faction population, are really what need to be addressed, in my opinion. So again, Cody, I don't want you to think that I'm disregarding what you have to say or fully disagreeing with you. Because as I said, I've been an outspoken person about some of the evil units myself. I don't know if you read it, but the only thing they can do is allow trading of heroes for other heroes. So for example, and I had seen that put out on the chat in the bottom right of the screen is hard to read. Okay, I can try and adjust that. But yeah, I have seen that suggestion come about. I just personally would like that to be an optional one if it came in, because I actually wouldn't want to convert any of my good commanders into evil ones. I'd want to keep all of my good commanders so that I did have them when I were to go good again. But I understand that might be something that would take some of the bitterness out of it for other people. So I do think that being an optional thing, like a commander exchange, I think would be good. Yeah, Cody, I can feel you there. I mean, having everyone kick your ass and then say, oh, but you've got really good siege damage, that can't feel good. So I haven't tried to push that as part of the benefit for you. Because, like I said, that only helps after the fight, and that's the part you got to get through. Mordor does have some counters for Gondor. All right, I've caught back up in the chat there. Oh, but I've been talking too much. My friggin' out of breath and shit. I'm tired today too. I've had a busy day. All right, and I was told the chat here is. All right, so which one do I got to go into? Edit here. Let's see if. So I think I know how I can fix it here. Usually, all right, there I can do that. All right, I made a slight adjustment to the chat box there. Oh boy, what happened there? It's just, yeah, seriously, what's going on? Why do I have two chat boxes? There we go. All right, let me know if that chat down there is a little easier to read. Hopefully it is. I'll talk to you later, J-Man. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Yeah, Isengard's starting area on the map is not the greatest, but it is one of those ones that, although with this change, who cares about lore anymore? You know, it is really the only starting position they could have to be any kind of lore accurate. But again, who really cares about lore accurate when we're going to get to use all the commanders all the time next season? Miracle JP, the change is that in seasons going forward, it's not going to matter whether you choose good or evil. You're just going to be able to use all the commanders together. There will be no separation for good and evil commanders. And there are many people that are not happy with that idea. There are some that are in favor of it. Hey, Zon, you got the shadow. Good stuff, man. Grats. I think we had Arwen over here. Yeah, we got Arwen over here doing her mock battle thing now. Because we got... Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys wouldn't have got to see that. Because that happened off stream. But he did finally hit... He didn't hit 50 off that mock battle he was on Friday night. But, what was it? I sent him at a couple of tiles. I think I sent him in a mob. And that got him the last little bits of experience he needed. So he's finally at 50. And you know what? Considering who knows how much longer I'm going to be playing the game, maybe I'll just start going absolute ham and rampaging all over the place. Screw whoever we got alliances or pacts or ceasefires or what the hell ever with. I am sick and tired of not doing anything with my commanders. Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess we could go to war with elves. That's insane. Yeah, I'm located over here now, so. Do not hit the elves. Screw you. At this point, I will hit whoever the hell I want. Who do we got? Garden over here. Cool. There's a T2 Gandalf that is pretty broken. Why does evil not get a T? Because you get a T2 Lurtz that is just as broken, if not more. Well, see, now that Miracle JP, I don't know. I don't know if at that point evil commanders will show up in the Matham chests for good players, or if you're still going to be limited to faction specific commanders in your Matham chests. But if you happen to have commanders from the opposite faction, you can use them. This could be painful for players who are spending money on chests. There are going to be so many commanders you can get, and to get the one you want. Well, as I just addressed, Zon, I don't know if the change being made is actually going to affect Matham chests. as far as I've been able to confirm, the only thing it's going to do is any commanders you currently have unlocked are going to be usable on the other side. Cody, I'm sorry, I have a Respect 3 Lurtz. I would very happily trade him for the ability to use a T2 Gandalf. And I mean, that's your prerogative, Cody, but I'm telling you that objectively, Lurtz is an amazing commander, and he is just as good, if not better, than Gandalf the Gray. So trying to say that because good has Gandalf the Gray makes them broken and you're not getting anything offered of equal value is just wrong. Like, that's all I'm trying to point out, is that is objectively wrong to say, because Lurtz is a great commander. There's no way to argue that he's not on the same level as Gandalf the Gray. I mean, like I said, we can agree to disagree on the bigger picture of things, but like that specific point, I will combat you on that, because I've had the experience with him. I've seen the reports myself. I've delved into it. It is more so that I have Agzok already. Gandalf is something we do not have access to. Yeah, Agzok and Lurtz do very similar things. They're both extremely high physical damage dealers. But again, like, that's what I was trying to get at earlier when I said that the trade-off on the evil side is that the units are a little bit weaker, and the commanders don't offer those units as much support in battle. You've got more evil commanders that are basically more selfish, and they care more about themselves and what they're doing in battle than what their units are doing. Whereas the good faction works the exact opposite. The commanders on the good side care less about what they personally do in battle and more about what their units are doing in battle. That is the major difference that it seems like a lot of people just aren't understanding. It's like there's a reason that evil units are a little bit weaker than good units. Yes, right now that balance is too lopsided, but they're never going to be 1-for-1 on par with good units, because the evil commanders put out more damage themselves. Yeah, Zon, I've seen people saying Lurtz is bad. I've seen people saying that snipers are bad. There's a lot of stuff that I've been seeing people say that it's just like, I'm sorry, this just seems to come from inexperience, guys. Like, they either haven't built them right, or they haven't used them in the right situations, in the right combinations. There are so many other factors that go into a lot of these battles than just what commander and what unit. Levels, whether that be commander levels, respect levels, the levels on unit abilities. And Cody, again, right now, because of the lopsided issues, yeah, it's hard to gauge. If they were to properly balance the evil units, rather than give these half balances like they did recently, I don't know, maybe we'd see something more. Ha ha ha, Dunedain are bad jokes from King Dead. He just knows that gets me. Yeah, Jack James. This brings up a point that I also wanted to talk about. There was a video that I saw some guy put out on YouTube saying that this game is rubbish. It's just trash. It's terrible. I can't even remember the guy's name. He's a YouTuber type thing. He put the video out. He admitted that he spent 8 hours in the game. Now, he didn't know, I don't think, because he questioned it when I made a comment, but he was actually on a test server. He wasn't even on a normal server. He spent 8 hours in the game, and he was able to make the determination that the game in its entirety is trash. All of its systems are terrible. It's a completely predatory, pay-to-win, just shit game. I may have my complaints about this game, but man, did that video ever make me mad. Especially considering at about the 9-minute mark, he blatantly lies about the fact that every single timer in the game can be sped up with real-world money while he's on the conscription screen in his barracks, trying to tell people that, oh yeah, you can speed up your conscription timers, no problem, because every speed up timer can be, or every timer can be sped up. And it's like, nah, no, you absolutely blatantly, either he didn't play the game long enough and didn't fully understand that no, that's a timer you can't speed up, or he knew you couldn't speed it up and still lied because it fit his narrative better. And yeah, like I had a huge problem with his video. So that, he complained about the amount of different things in the game, just all the different screens, all the buildings you had to upgrade, all the units you had to upgrade. It's like, oh my God, I'm sorry, but would you not be making the same video if the opposite were true and the devs didn't give you any of this stuff to do? But then his opinion would just be, oh, well, the game is so boring. There's nothing to do. There's no options. There's no diversity. It's like, well, where the hell's the middle ground, man? When are you going to be happy? This game provides so much in the way of depth and strategy if you're willing to look for it. But, if you don't have that kind of, if he doesn't have that kind of strategic mindset, well, that's on him. But he can't say it's a terrible game because he spent 8 hours on it and came up with a story. Yeah, Tyler Curves, snipers are such an underrated unit on the evil side. The fact that they prioritize range the same as Dunedains do, but they actually get extra defense against melee units, so they can actually stand their ground against Dunedains while they're tearing apart the ranged. Zon, that's partially true, but there's a lot of commanders that don't actually offer many great things at Respect 5. There are only some that really have amazing Respect level 5 things. Grima is a great example where I think Grima's Respect 5 tree is terrible. Yeah, right, Tyler? Like 8 hours, long enough to get to main hall 5. Woohoo! Exactly, Omega. Worst is the 6 versus 4 evil faction balance. Like, at least give the a proper balance in faction numbers. Yes, Cody, I fully agree there. The game is not pay to win, but balance issues still exist. Lady C, I see you're joining us here in the chat. Coming from a pay-to-win game, it's been tough here in Middle-earth. And see, this, I love this too, because you come from Game of Thrones Conquest, right, Lady C? And from what I've been hearing from other people, that is one of the, if not the single most pay-to-win game on the mobile market. So I would actually love to hear your opinion on, just the comparison kind of thing between the pay to win aspects of that game and the checks in place in this game type thing, if you're comfortable speaking on that. Or but yeah, because I haven't played that game. I haven't really played a lot of heavily pay to win games of this nature. Oh wow, that's concerning to hear that GOTC started more simple like this. No. Was GOTC made by NetEase? God, I hope not. If so, then who knows? Maybe I'll just uninstall tonight. God damn. Oh, Warner Brothers. Okay. Yeah, they're pretty bad. I got into the Mortal Kombat game for a little bit. Ugh. Ozan, hello. Good luck for the game. May I ask a question? Do you think Angmar needs a buff? I do think either Angmar or Mordor need a different unit in the Warg slot, because right now Angmar and Mordor share that unit, and I don't like that happening. I almost think the Arbalests just need to go, because there's poison damage offered in so many other places on the evil side. And to be honest, snipers are just, in my opinion anyway, always a better option than Arbalests. And, I don't know. If they had their own melee unit to offer, maybe, that I think would help things. Omega Zen, you're actually wrong there. Let's be real. It all comes down to the top 10 players in the server that determines how the server goes. They are so ahead compared. No. The top 10 players in this game could be spread across all the different factions. And at that point, like, no individual in this game decides anything. And even if that group of 10 players were all in the same faction, all in the same fellowship, all, whatever, they could be overcome pretty easily. 10 players doesn't make or break it, really. But it is more about the group mentality. I will admit that. Like, the larger the groups get, that's when you start to see this. We've got an absolutely huge group of people together in Rohan. I think we've got 5 different fellowships all connected under the Arda banner. And so yeah, we had so many people that it was pretty much a wash. But this is one of the things that I use. I know I'll even admit it's a bit of a silly example, but I mean, it does illustrate the point when I get into the pay to win discussion with people. Yes, maybe I'm going a little too literal on the definition here, but no individual, no matter how much money they spend on this game, is going to win. You cannot succeed unless it's done with others. So that's one thing that I feel very happy with so far, that they've just put a lot of checks in place to prevent it from becoming something like that, where the top 10 players can determine the course of a server. Cody, you like the Arbalests? All right. There you go, man. Again, another difference of opinion, but like they're okay, but they don't do nearly as much damage and they die way faster than snipers. Because they don't prioritize anything, they're not great. The poison damage is really the only thing. Well, and I mean they do the double attack thing sometimes, but even still, they just don't generally compare to snipers. And with the amount of range that you face, snipers are 90% of the time gonna pay off. Ouch. And got C, the 10 players could actually beat a team of 50. Ooh. Hey, Roman Height uses Arbalests too. There you go. I do have a video up of good commanders as well as evil commanders that I think are worth investing in early on. I do talk about the builds that I suggest for them, as well as some unit composition things, Gonzalo, so you can check those out. What happens to the player who lost their territory / capital? They would just spawn in a random location that would have been their faction's starting territory. So, like Rohan, or I guess Isengard would be maybe a good example. They would be spawning, in and around this area still. Like dwarves, if one of them gets relocated, they would still be spawning in this area. And it is possible that a dwarf could get relocated into what is now Rohan controlled land. That actually happened to me in the last beta, where I got relocated. I can't remember, it was somewhere, I think it was even when I was Gondor, I got relocated somewhere like up here, and it was controlled by the elves at that point. And so yeah, I actually relocated into enemy territory and couldn't really do anything. It sucked. But that's kind of what happens. Whew, my opinion on who is the best evil commander from all tiers combined. Wow. I kind of want to say Kamul. If you were going to force me to pick one evil commander, then I would probably say Kamul, just because he offers a ton of damage. Not a ton, I guess, but he offers a good amount of damage himself, which can be poison damage, which would, do well against things like Oathbreakers. He doesn't offer healing, but he offers defense as well as, I think, defense or damage mitigation and avoidance. And I know it's not a great pick, but I mean, I'm trying to think of a fairly easy commander to get a hold of, a fairly easy commander to level up, someone that offers a decent variety of things. And so I'm trying to be really kind of middle of the road with it. If you're wanting more damage, then you'd want somebody like Lurtz, Agzok, Khaldun. If you want more on the healing and support side, maybe you'd want someone like Gorbag. If you want more focus damage, then Sharku with his burn damage and Conspirator Tree, I think it is, in the middle. So, And yeah, I mean, Agzok, I always love Agzok. Grima is also a great one. I never see Angmar dominate any server. They always lost. What about you, sir? Maybe you should start with them and teach us. I've thought about Angmar, but honestly, with the Arnor and Linden starting there, like Angmar's fucked. They've got dwarves, Arnor, Linden, Loth, all just right there, right from the beginning. No thanks. Just no. Nobody should play Angmar, in my opinion. You know, that's how the devs will see that they've screwed something up. Just nobody play Angmar next season. Say, screw you guys. If you're going to absolutely shove Angmar up there and surround them right off the get-go with 4 enemies, screw it. Just don't play them. Everybody come and join Mordor with me. Mordor has the strongest starting position from any of the evil factions. So I think I've made my decision that I am going to be going Mordor next season. Lady C, one of the differences I haven't seen yet here is working the game mechanics together as a team to balance a team/players to defeat a single player. Here, there's so many commanders. Yeah. Cody agrees I should play Angmar. Again, I would if they just weren't so screwed right off the bat. I said earlier, for evil faction, people must focus on commander damage, but I'm all the time focusing on whole army. Maybe that's why I'm sloppy in the game, focusing too much on armies. Well, and that is a thing, Zon. If you actually, like, if you look at the commanders you're using, you can start to figure that out. Again, somebody like Lurtz or Agzok, if you actually look at the main abilities that you're going to be using, there aren't many, if any, that actually affect your units at all. It's all just about pumping out damage. Maybe it'll increase the damage your units do, but there's no like defense or healing or avoidance or anything like that with those guys. It's all about damage. And so at that point, if you know that your damage is coming from your commander, at that point, you can create a composition that buys time. So you focus on heavy defense. Things like, that's why I loved the Crushers and the Mountain Trolls. Crushers had a really high defense. They lowered the defense of the enemy. The Mountain Trolls had a taunt. The Reapers did crazy damage if they could get in there. The Snipers were there if I needed to take out ranged. You know, I did things to buy time so that my commanders could do their thing. And then on the good side, it's the exact opposite. I try and buy time for the troops as a good faction player so that they can do their thing. Cody, I welcome you in Mordor, man. If I can help make next season more enjoyable for you, I am super happy to try and do that, because that's why that's why I'm doing a stream tonight. That's why I made the video earlier. That's why I'm so outspoken about things like this that I feel are going to hurt the game, because I really like this game. I think it's been really well done so far. Yes, there are things that could be addressed and need to be addressed, but on the whole, I do feel like they've done a really good job, and I feel like they've got a really good framework here. And I don't want to see it die early. I don't want to see it drive new players away that haven't yet had the experience to, or haven't yet had the chance to fully experience the game or fully enjoy the game, because of things like what we're seeing here on my server, where, you know, there was just overwhelming factions. things like this don't really allow for a true experience of the game. So, anyone that wants to join with me next season, as I said, if I can help make next season more enjoyable for anyone, I'm more than happy to do that. Welcome back, Blaze Chai. How's it going? Is there a possibility now to play with friends in one server? I mean, when you can all join in one server, not in random. Yeah, but it takes coordinations on, at least right now. Like, you basically all need to coordinate that you're going to log in and join whatever number server right away. And if it fills up, it fills up. But Tyler Curves. AJ, do I really believe all the good factions will team up on evil factions, and Angmar at least get the benefit from starting from the top of the map? No, yeah, like, I do believe that, Tyler. I don't think there's any way that it's going to be too tempting. They're going to be way too easy a target. They're just going to be a sitting duck. What's the point in traveling down and fighting with Isengard if you know that they're going to get into it with either Rohan or Gondor? You've got the dwarves up there to help you out. Even if you don't need them, you've got the elves. Even if you don't need them, you've still got elves and Arnor. Like, there are 4 options to come and attack you. Even if only 1 or 2 of them do. That still sucks. But then, if 3 or 4 do, it's ridiculous. I don't think it'll happen in every single server, but it's going to happen in more than few type thing, or more than less. I don't know yet, Jack, because I don't really know how the season, like how the server merges and whatnot are going. It also depends, I guess, on what happens with this commander thing. So there will be more details on my Discord as the time approaches. I don't know if Nightbot is the Nightbot's probably lying about the Discord link again tonight. But yeah, there he is there. That's probably a lie. But as I said, there will be more information both on the Discord and on the YouTube channel, in more of my streams, things like that. When I figure it out, I'll try and make sure everybody knows what server I'm going to be going Mordor on. We don't know exactly yet when the new season starts on. And King with the eyeballs. Yeah, it is tough sometimes, eh, Lady C? Even if you try and come into these games as a casual, I mean, sometimes you just can't get over that competitive nature, and but you dominated them. I think I lost the context, Ozan, for your but you dominated them. If it was just a general comment about our map, then yeah, we did, and I'm not thrilled with that, to be honest. But Zon, damn, you are the best streamer of this game out there. Oh man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. I've seen a lot, but you just have the way of explaining those little things so good. Well, 4-hour streams is better than 10-min video. Keep it up. Awesome, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Zon. I'm really glad I can help. As Mordor on server 142, we have Gondor and Rohan as allies. And see, Jason, that is the kind of thing I do like to see. I don't believe that, like, even if we stick to the lore in terms of, keeping good and evil commanders separate and spawn locations, things like that, I'm happy trying to stay lore accurate to those things. But I love the idea of good and evil factions working together to mix things up. Like, but do that in game. Let diplomacy take its natural course. I have been part of those diplomatic talks. I remember as like in Mordor last season, we ended up allying with the dwarves at one point against Rohan. That was awesome. And then the dwarves turned on us and we had a bit of a war with them. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. We had an alliance with the dwarves at one point as Mordor. Like, could you imagine if that succeeded for the whole game and you just had this whole eastern side of the map, you know, even get Rune in on it. You could just have this whole eastern side of the map just sweep across. It'd be hilarious. And then you'd have a big fight for the ring at the end. You know, that kind of inter-faction mingling, I am all in favor of. But again, let it be through like diplomatic channels. That makes sense. The Nightbot works for YouTube anyway. All right, thank you, Blaze Chai. I imagine I have you to thank for that. Yeah, and you know, this is a whole nother issue, Cody, that I have that I haven't even really addressed in depth yet, is the 6 versus 4 faction imbalance. I hate the idea that there are 6 evil or 6 good factions and only 4 evil ones. Like, what are they thinking? That makes absolutely zero sense. You're gonna need a monstrous group of players to join evil in order to have some kind of chance. And like you said, they're all basically gonna have to join Mordor. So yeah, it's really weird. It's really strange. Well, Roman Height, I mean, if this change goes through, then you won't lose any of your commanders. But if the change doesn't go through, what I would suggest is you start an evil account. Although again, like, because the server merges, like, I actually don't know how that's gonna work. I've got my Mordor account right now on server 100, so I don't know where that's gonna end up when the servers merge. I don't know if that's going to dictate where my evil account goes, or if I'm just going to choose a different server and start over from 0 myself. So, because I very well might. I don't care about starting from 0 again. Again, it's like I enjoy the game. I enjoy the time I spend in the game if it's playing out properly, if things are balanced, if the experience can be enjoyable, then I don't mind spending the time to do things in the game. Awesome's on. Until southern Mordor screwed us. Yeah, that was so bad when we all got like split like that, and we had like a third of Mordor north of Gorgoroth, a third of Mordor in Gorgoroth, and then the other third of Mordor south of Gorgoroth, all doing their own things. It was just chaos. God, that was bad. Actually, what determines the season ending? So this has to be complete on at least 2 servers. This is the final season objective, and at least 2 servers would have to have this complete before they even think about ending the season. I have a feeling they're going to wait until they have at least half a dozen or a dozen servers with this complete so that they can do a big merge rather than just merging individual servers type thing. It says, I was on the screen. It says in here, if you go to your season information, the duration of a current season, all they give us is that it lasts several months. I believe this has been changed recently, and before the change, it actually said lasts 2 to 3 months. So now it's even more vague. but it does say several months. I don't expect this season to end until at least December at some point, to be honest. If it ends before that, I'd be surprised. Oh boy. Okay, no, I'm not actually that far back in chat. I thought I was like way far back. Oh, but we sir dominated them. Okay. Yeah, and that has been an issue with Rohan in the past, is that they're generally surrounded and have a really hard time. Luckily, as I explained, we had a huge group of players that were just able to steamroll everybody else. So Rohan finally had their time to shine. Gonzalo, you have heard that next season starts around the 21st of November. Okay, there we go. I can't confirm that myself, Gonzalo, but thank you for at least providing me with the first like rumor type thing that I can start looking into. So I will start looking into this November 21st date. If I can get any more confirmation, you can be sure I'm going to let you know. Roman height. I am Mordor, but I'm server 28. That's why I'm worried. Well, I mean, as I said, if you end up starting on server 28 again as Mordor, who knows, maybe I'll just come and join server 28 with you and make it easy for everybody, and then you won't lose anything. Because I don't mind starting from zero. I've only got 4 commanders as it is for evil anyway right now, so I don't mind. So there we go. Mordor next season may be starting on server 28 or whatever server it gets merged into. We need more evil races like Haradrim or goblins. Exactly, Ozan, I agree with you there. Like, I put that suggestion in the other day. It was just a simple game suggestion. Add 2 more evil factions. S11 is completed. Server 11 is done already. There you go. Server 20, you finished the season mission 2 days ago. All right, so this November 21st thing then could be legit because there are more and more servers completing their objectives. What even servers do next when they take the One Ring? Just ride around the map. I can actually show you a lot of the time what was happening. Where? I think it was over here. At least in the betas and stuff, what was generally happening was either people were going around and just kind of having fun, doing their own PvP thing, either with friends or doing... We did a lot of testing at this point. This is how we found out pretty much all the information we know, is that when it got to the point that we didn't have anything else to do, we would crunch numbers and we would think of weird little ideas and combinations and commander builds and troop compositions, and we would start talking about them, and then we would just test them, have some friendly 1v1s, gather data, read the reports together, do math. We had a math club going. It was great. Spreadsheets and everything. I can't remember where the PvP arena is, but I think Rezar... Yeah, here we go. This was the other thing that was happening a lot, is PvP arenas would get set up where people from any and all factions could just come to this area, build forts, and partake in 1v1 PvP. It's... Sometimes players need to take the game into their own hands and be creative. You can't necessarily rely on the devs to spoon feed you every single thing the game has to offer. There's a lot of the times they leave room for us to figure things out. And like I said, this was something that we started doing, at least in the betas, to pass the time. Like I said, there's always objectives to go after. A lot of the times you'd see certain factions wanting to capture Barad-dûr because it's, it's a capital. The other thing that people like to go after by season end is Mount Doom, because this is actually the hardest structure to take in the game. As you can see, like the capitals, they only have 45 level 50 defenders, but Mount Doom actually has 60 level 50 defenders. So this is actually the hardest structure in the game to take. At least once all the buffs are gone, because I think before Dol Guldur goes down, or there's a season objective that reduces defenders at places, and until then they've got 90. But barring all that, once you get to the end of the season, Mount Doom should be the hardest objective for anyone to take. So, there's always things to do, really. Talking point for tomorrow: Moria goblins should be added as a faction with great leaders and T4 Balrogs to recruit. Love it, Cody. Because I actually did think about, goblins from Moria being a viable faction addition. And I love the idea of T4 Balrogs as a unit. Yeah. Let's, I'm going to take note of that, and we can have a chat about that tomorrow, because I guess I can preview that for everybody tonight, for anyone that's not aware, because I haven't said anything about it, so there's no reason you would be aware of it yet. But tomorrow night, on the regularly scheduled program, we're going to have Cody here, also known as Elion or Elion. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I guess. But also known as that on our Discord server. Cody's one of my patrons, Cody Reagan. Love the support. And he's going to be joining us on stream tomorrow night for the interview segment. So it looks like we're going to be talking about the possibility of Moria goblins being added as a playable evil faction. Maybe we can hash out a second evil faction to add, Cody. That'll be it'll be interesting to see how that discussion evolves. We may also have King Dead joining us later on in the stream tomorrow, after the interview with Cody. Yeah, King Dead and I are in discussions about this as well, and I know that we're going to be talking about it anyway, so why not just talk about it on stream? Elion, yes, okay, there we go. AJ, are you using your market to buy speed ups that transfer to S2 for early game? No, Tyler, I'm not. I don't really do that kind of stuff. I don't try to, in games like this that have carryover progression, I don't actually like to try and stockpile an advantage moving forward type thing. I don't know. And that's why I'm not totally in favor of this. That's why I don't want my commanders converted to their evil counterparts, because I actually like the grind a little bit. I like feeling that I've earned those things. I know that it's not that hard to obtain speed ups, so I'll get speed ups. I don't care. I'll have free gems from the joining all the socials and the survey and stuff like that I can spend on speed ups if I want to. But no, I'm not stockpiling stuff like that ahead of time. I would love to join you at a server. I start at new servers to see how I start and improve, so I can start from zero with you. That would be awesome, Gonzalo. Like I said, keep following the channel. If you're not on the Discord yet, we can try and get you in on the Discord. If anyone, because I don't have it on this screen here, but AJ McGamer, hashtag 60 6-8. That's my personal Discord. So, I mean, if the Discord links are having an issue or whatever, people can add me as a friend. We'll get you on the Discord server. And we'll try and get everybody in together as much as we can for next season. What if allies of your guild could send troops to a fortress to help? So faction that have bad starting area on the map have a shot. Guild could send troops to a fortress to help. They kind of can. That's the thing. Like, you can send, like right here, you know, I could send my Theoden, whatever, over to my ally's fort to help him defend. So, I mean, they do already kind of have that in there, Jason. I don't know if that's what you were actually asking about, but yeah, you can occupy. They have to be in your fellowship or warband. But you can occupy tiles and forts of Fellowship and Warband members. Yeah, this game sounds so much fun playing with friends together, not solo with random people. Yes, Son, it does make a big difference when you actually find a group of people that you gel with and you start to make some friendships and relationships in the game. It is a very lonely game if you're trying to play it solo. I find you're not able to get involved in, you know, any of the major things that are happening. There's no sense of focus really, like what to do or where to be going, things like that. And so being part of an organized group definitely makes a big difference. I just found out Sharku, and this is from Roman. I just found out that Sharku as a siege commander is amazing. Load him with mountain trolls and alchemists. Yes, yeah, alchemists are an amazing siege unit, and mountain trolls will help keep them alive. So, yep, that's a really good combination. It's cool to see your stream viewers count grow more and more. 30 is maybe not much, but for starting YouTube, it's really nice to have people who are interested in your... See, I haven't even been like checking it myself because I've been so focused on chat, but we're up to 30 viewers. Wow. Thank you, I usually try and, you know, every now and then address and welcome anyone new, but I've been, you know, we've got chat just flying tonight. I'm answering questions, commenting on things, and I'm loving it. So to any new viewers we've got joining us tonight, thank you so much for joining. We're discussing the commander change, balance issues, stuff like that. Just basically having a great open discussion on the state of the game and how we're all feeling on it. So if you're enjoying it, I generally stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. But because of the traction this was getting on the Discord servers and all the discussion that was already happening about it, when it was suggested that I stream tonight, I thought, yeah, it's a good idea. I'm also going to say that, you know, I have lost track of time a little bit. I'm starting to do my PP dance in the chair here. So I'm going to hit that BRB transition for just a moment. Going to go to the washroom, and I'll be right back, and we will continue this amazing discussion. So, transition. we are back. Kinda, sorta. Now we're back. Alrighty. Sorry if that was a little bit longer break than usual. I needed a little bit of pipe weed to try and just calm myself down a little bit. Don't think it worked. I really don't think it worked. Anyway. Tyler Curves had a question before I left for break here. When Season 2 hits and you have all your commanders, do you use your main commander stam early? Oh. Running up the stairs didn't help. Oh. Just give me a minute. I'll be all right. I'll be good. And Gideon Lim, thank you very much for the subscription there. I did see that. Gideon, we're talking about the change being made to commanders in future seasons, where, it looks like Cody has addressed it, where good and evil commanders apparently will be able to be used across multiple factions. Like, it won't matter if you chose good or evil, you'll get to use commanders from both sides equally. But yes, do you use your main commander stam early on so you can level it up to use your armies, or save them and use your throwaway commanders? I will probably use, if I were in that situation, say I went good again next season, or I guess, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Let's say the change happens and next season I get all my commanders on Mordor. I would probably go with whoever my strongest commanders were and start using them to take tiles, because really a Respect 5 commander, once they start to get some levels, especially if they still have all the gear that you had on them, you should be able to take higher level tiles than you normally would. Tanner is here. Is it just me, or are the majority of evil units and commanders much less powerful than good ones? The units, yes, for the most part, the evil units are, but the evil commanders generally put out more commander damage. So they do more personal damage, but they have less support for their armies. Whereas good faction commanders do less personal commander damage, but have more support for their armies. Wondering what's best for Gothmog. Have him at Respect 4, and I'm running the Crippled ability. You have gear on him that buffs Trolls defense and attack, so I'm thinking about T3 Trolls and T4 Troll. Gothmog. Does Gothmog have the second in command tree? If so, that's a great tree to run. Can you turn up your outbound volume, please? Well, I can turn this back up. Let me know if that helps there, David Moore. I've also turned the gain up on my microphone, so hopefully I'm not blowing your eardrums out now. I have joined the Discord server. Well, thank you very much. I will take note of that, Gonzalo. Michael L., how's it going? Your Theoden got destroyed, like obliterated by a level 50 Gothmog. Wow. Woobto, how's it going? Welcome back. So what's happening exactly? Apparently, in future seasons, it's not going to matter whether you choose a good or an evil faction. You'll be able to use good or evil commanders across the board. Yeah, not a problem, David. Thank you very much for letting me know. Hey, thank you very much for the subscription there, Gonzalo. think I broke my alert box then, because it doesn't seem like the alerts are going off. But that's cool. They're all like window dressing anyway. How are you doing, AJ? I'm doing all right. I've been a little bit stressed out today about this change. I'm really concerned about it. Because it concerns me for the future of the game. So, other than that, I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Michael L? Andreas Bachos, thank you very much. Lovely stream. As a fanatic of Tolkien's work, it pains me that they would even suggest this. Right? Right? Like, to put this into perspective as to just how silly an idea this is, I was talking about this just kind of in passing earlier today, and my mom was like nearby. She heard the fact that good and evil were going to be working together, basically, and even she said that was ridiculous. And she's not like a hardcore Lord of the Rings fan, or doesn't play the game or anything. This is just a normal person that, with common sense, thinks, why would good and evil work together? That's where I'm coming from. Wubto, I don't know if they've actually given a reasoning for the change, but it seems like what people are kind of attributing it to is almost their attempt to fix the balance issues. Not bad, not great. I guess that's all you can ask for some days. Maybe just like an even keel, eh? Sad about the changes and that our server is officially dead. I'm sad about that too, Michael L. I'm sad for you. As I've been saying though, Michael L., I plan on going Mordor next season. I still don't know exactly which server, but once I figure all that out, anyone that wants to join Mordor with me next season, we can all be evil together and just absolutely rampage, and anything I can do to help make the next season more enjoyable for people, I'll try and do my part. So, there it is. There's the old thingamajig coming in. Oh, I forgot I need to open it on Twitch. Oh, well, there you go. Syntax. I made a rant post about the change on Facebook. I was stunned when people said they thought it was a good idea and are supporting the devs. Wow. Yeah, I've seen people say they think it's a good idea. And hey, everyone's allowed to have their opinion. I personally think the opposite. But maybe if they're going to have test servers or special servers anyway, maybe do this on a special server or a test server first. Just to see what it's like. If they are like absolutely intent on doing it, do it on a small scale first. Just to see what the results are like. But don't blanket the game with this kind of change less than a month into it. Gandalf is, David Moore has a Gandalf at level 46, respect level 5, there we go. I have 4 or 5 star purple equipment and refine level 3 or 4 on each piece, killing anywhere between 10 to 15 armies. Yep. Yeah, Gandalf can definitely be a beast. Yeah, I mean, if you want to share the reports, I don't mind reading reports. But I definitely believe you. I know Gandalf can be powerful. I think they should add some sort of legitimate alliance/NAP feature in the game. So do I, Wubto. That was something I started asking about in the beta. I think it would be really beneficial if there was an official alliance system in the game, just like there is for war, where you can, declare peace with another faction or declare an alliance with another faction. Even if it's a temporary time period, the same as the war declaration is. But for the time that you are allied, you can actually use tiles of other factions the same as, your own faction tiles. That way it allows for easier movement, things like that. It actually allows defenses and coordination and cooperation. I think that would be a huge benefit to the game. And at that point, the diplomacy aspect would really start to take off. Lady C asks, where was this new change posted? So if you see on the thumbnail for the video that I put out earlier, as well as the thumbnail for this stream, there's that little article over on the right-hand side. That article was actually done by the player named Aerith on the Discord servers. They are a fearless pioneer lore master, and they were commissioned, from what they say anyway, on the tavern. I think they were commissioned to write the article about what's going to be happening next season, and this was part of that Q&A article. But not only that, there was also a devs in the tavern that this was apparently confirmed on. And that is actually, there was a link to it on the Discord, I think the official Discord, or it might have been the Arda Discord. But there is a devs in the tavern episode that apparently confirms this as well. So, I saw the article this morning, and that was when I started to question things, because at first I didn't know if it was confirmed by the devs or if this was somebody's opinion. And so I started doing some digging, and from everything I was able to find out, I'm like 90 to 95% certain that this is planned to be the case. Yeah, fleeting dream. That's exactly it. A lot of people have been talking about Arwen with Mama Kills. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Evil definitely doesn't need more help on our server. Thank you, Michael L. I like finally hearing somebody point out that, hey, there are some servers where evil is quite successful. So, I mean, if it were true that evil commanders and evil units were just bad across the board, I don't think you'd be seeing any success from the evil factions. Yeah, Wubto, somebody actually put a suggestion on the Discord server earlier that, for example, I think the example they used was that if you were Mordor, then, say, runes tile colors would actually appear yellow instead of red. They would still function the same as an enemy tile. It would just be the visual difference to make it easier to figure out who's an actual enemy and who's just part of another faction. That, I think, would be a great idea. Awesome syntax. If we can set it up, let's do it. Hey, Michaela, how's it going? Cool cat. David Moore, your Gimli is about the same equivalent gear, etc., but he only does about 3 armies. What units are you running, David Moore, on your Gimli? Okay, I feel like I gotta scroll down here. I think I'm getting lost, and I won't be able to catch up. Do you have a Discord? How/where can I share? Yes, I do, David Moore. AJ McGamer, hashtag 6068, I believe. By the way, the theory crafting we did last season, I told my Rune Warband about it, and it's amazing. Rune going strong. Awesome to hear, Syntax. That is very awesome to hear. Oh, wow, look at that. Go team. Just... Oh, wait. That was them. Go team. Go dwarves. Like, hey, let's go. Yeah, credit where credit's due there. Go dwarves. I have to show you some reports tomorrow. It's hilarious. All right, King. Love to take a look at those. It's sometimes funny when chat just spams and you legit answer / read all their questions. My head would explode of all that. Can't imagine how it feels streamers with 5K. Yeah, Zon. I mean, you know, I'm able to attempt doing this with like 31 people. You know, I'm fully aware that trying to maintain reading like just about every question, comment, or whatever, and having some commentary of my own on it, it's not sustainable. But I try. I really do. Especially on a topic like this. I feel like this is a really important topic, and I'm genuinely interested to find out everyone's different feelings and viewpoints on it. So that's why I'm trying to, you know, scroll back and see if there's anything major that I've missed that I'd like to address. So I try and catch back up, though, and scroll down and make sure I don't miss anything crazy. Like David Moore here has told me not to skip the Haldir message. It will blow my mind. So I need to scroll up. And, David Moore says everyone is using Haldir 100% wrong. I know almost everyone has Haldir. Let me blow your mind. Put only Eagles on Haldir. And take both healing talents and his direct damage on Haldir and watch him explode on other armies. All right. I mean, hey, there we go. If anyone wants to try a new Haldir build, let's give that a shot. I don't really have a Haldir that's worth doing that with, and I don't have Eagles. So, like, my Haldir is only 33. I haven't really been focusing on him. I was focusing on other people's. Oh, you're Michael L. You're over on Twitch now. Awesome. Just messing with me. I like it. Keeping me on my toes. I told my warband about the theory crafting we did last stream about BS and war chariots. It's amazing. Nice. That is awesome. Oh yeah, Black Serpent and war chariots. There we go. Okay. I had to remember what BS, because I knew it wasn't the BS most people use. It's annoying to have to figure out, not to attack Rohan and then find all the Loth tiles hidden amongst them. Yeah. Haldir, one of the best commanders in the game when using Eagles. Nice, because generally, David Moore, you know, I was seeing most people go with Bearmen for the beast choice on Haldir. Does Haldir provide enough healing for the Eagles for you to go up against ranged units with it? Because, like, the Eagles take so much extra damage from ranged that I feel like he'd be pretty easy to counter in that sense. But if you've got reports against heavy ranged compositions that say differently, then yeah, I'd definitely like to know. Exactly, yeah, Syntax asked the same thing. Doesn't ranged counter Eagles, though, so. How much time it took to understand this game, how commanders work, what to do, and so on. I'll admit, Zon, I've been playing the game for over a year or almost a year. I don't know, somewhere around there. Because, like, the first beta that I took part in was maybe around Christmas, last year. I think there was snow on the ground when I started playing. So it's taken me this long to understand what I do know. And I haven't been a passive observer trying to figure this out. I have been, as Syntax said, I've been theory crafting. I've been in discussions with people. I've done testing. I've done math. I've read reports. I've really tried to figure out a lot of systems. And it's taken me time. Because there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to go over. A lot of different things to actually think about. Syntax and I were talking about it. I think it was Syntax that I was speaking about it with. When I was younger, and I still have a bunch of cards, but I just haven't been playing them. I used to play a bunch of Magic the Gathering. And one of my favorite parts about it is deck building, which is basically just theory crafting. You're looking at a bunch of options and trying to figure out what is going to work. I was always that homebrew guy for anyone that's played those kind of games. I didn't really like net decking or going with the meta. I liked figuring out what's that thing that I can put together that nobody else has seen, that nobody else is going to expect. 9 times out of 10, I would lose terribly. But every now and then, there was that 1 out of 10 where I would come up with something that was so wacky, so out there, so weird, that you would actually dominate everybody because nobody had the defenses for it. And so diving into numbers, and especially the wording, I've learned that in this game, really trying to look at the wording on skills, where there are commas, where there are periods, punctuation in skills like these make a big difference. If there's a comma somewhere that you thought there was a period, or vice versa, it could completely change how a skill works. Exoc is actually a good example of this. I was asked to look at his tier 3 ability Laceration. I started looking at it because it didn't seem like it was doing damage when it activated, which it seemed like it should. So I went in, I started checking the battles, reading the reports, and sure enough, it would activate, but no damage would happen until the next round, and then it would do its 3 rounds of continuous damage. So I went in and I read the skill, and it seemed like it was just broken. And then I read the skill again, and it just says, inflicts bleeding, comma, deals damage continuous over 3 rounds. And I realized, oh, that's a comma. All it does is when it activates is inflict bleeding. And then it does continuous damage for the next 3 rounds. And so that little misunderstanding where I just hadn't seen the comma before or was reading the skill with a bit different grammar, it completely changed how the skill worked in my mind. Once I reread it and understood, okay, this is how it's actually meant to be read, it all made sense and was like, no, it's actually working fine. It activates, it does damage for the next 3 rounds. It activates again because those 3 rounds are equivalent to its cooldown. And then it does another 3 rounds of damage. So oh, yeah. But the way healing works, Eagles have 4,500 per command unit. Haldir heals 200% every round, and you stack some healing items. You're healing 12k damage a round per command unit. Yeah, now those reports there, David Moore, like the healing numbers, those I'd be extremely interested to see the reports. Just because I'm still personally, even with everything I have been able to figure out, healing in this game is something I'm still not clear on. Heals seem very weird. Haldir. Yeah, recover 100% HP per round. Is there something else you're using? Because, yeah, okay, 100% he does. What do you mean he heals 200% per round? He heals 100% per round. Nice. Red and white vehicle. Yeah, Mardu vehicles. Wasn't that a thing? Red, white, black. Wasn't that when they had the stupid energy? Armed escort. Thank you. That's why I asked if there was something else you were using. Because it was like, yeah, I feel like there's something that's not specific. And that one's modified by his focus stat. So yeah, I'd be interested to see your reports, mainly on the healing side of it. All right, I think I'm all like caught up on. I think I'm all caught up on the comments here. Wow, cool. And we're still at 28 viewers. Holy. Well, thank you everyone for sticking around and for being here. I mean, I'm losing my voice already because I've just been talking nonstop. But there's a lot to talk about, which is good. And hey, the more attention this gets, the more likely they are to make the change. It would be very nice to actually see this change get made. I mean, so many people are being so vocal about it. I don't know how you got the patience for all that. Reading, calculating, studying, and other things. It takes so much time. You could be yeah. I actually, like, I do play Hearthstone a little bit. Not as much. And yeah, I can do all right in it, but I don't actually enjoy it as much as Magic the Gathering. But there's some pretty fun stuff in Hearthstone. I was running the Enchanter's Flow Mage there for a while. Sometimes I'd throw the Deck of Lunacy in. What else? I had the OTK Demon Hunter with Il'gynoth. There was one other deck. I think it was a Shaman that I was running. I generally always tried to have a Murloc deck. I liked my Murlocs. They were kind of like I found them like the slivers of Hearthstone. And yeah, I'm one of those Magic players that I liked my slivers. Battlegrounds is alright. Healing works like this. The percent healed is based on unit HP per command. So if a unit has 100 HP and 50 units, their total is 5,000. If you heal 50%, you heal 2,500 per command unit. Now, like, I agree in theory, David Moore, but have you confirmed that through your own personal math, breaking down the reports? Because that's where it all fell apart for me. I had a number of theories on how healing worked, but every time I've tried to do the math on it, it doesn't add up, and it's frustrating. I've heard multiple different things from multiple different people on how healing works, and every time we've tried the math on it, it doesn't work. Not consistently, anyway. So, again, like if you have actual hard data that you've done yourself, then cool. Again, I'd love to see the reports. We can talk about it one-on-one, because I do want to know exactly how healing works, or at least feel more comfortable in my knowledge of how healing works so that I can speak more confidently on it. And then don't get me started on the whole modified by focus stat, because how much is it modified by the focus stat? Yeah, I remember playing Hearthstone back in the day, man, and I had a lot of fun with it back then. But my TCG of choice will always be Magic. Though they're starting to do some really dumb things with it, too. One of the last sets was basically a Harry Potter set that they just didn't have the balls to call a Harry Potter set, or the cash to actually pay for the license. But it was a Harry Potter set. They can deny it all they want. My Discord name is Dominance. I'll friend request you. Sounds good, David. I'll add you or confirm it after the stream. And like I said, we'll have some discussion about it, and hopefully you can clear things up for me. That would be awesome. All right, what am I gonna do? What should I do here? I got a level 50 Theoden. Let's just Doug. I'm gonna do the same thing with him now that I did with Ugthak. I'm just gonna call him Doug. Well, in childhood, I was a Potter fan. I probably wouldn't complain. I mean, I don't mind Harry Potter either, but I just don't want it being... I just don't think it needs to be brought into... yeah, screw it. Let's just go. If I get kicked out of the damn fellowship, I get kicked out of the damn fellowship. I don't care. I'm just going to send everybody and laugh. I'm bored. Charge! Yeah, that's everybody. Charge! This is for you, Roman. Let's see if anyone even says anything about it. Oh, Kaz, don't spoil the surprise if you're in here. For Mordor, indeed. They never knew I was a sleeper agent. I just represent entropy in the game now. Yeah, once again, thank you all so much for being here. And thank you all for the viewers that we've got on Twitch. Like I said, with these kind of average viewers tonight on Twitch, I may very well hit affiliate pretty soon. So thank you all so much. It means so much, all the support. I mean, I figured with just sitting around waiting for people to march, it was a good time for like a sappy thank you moment. So now that's one thing that I take very seriously. I really want to make sure that everybody knows that I do appreciate them being here and the support. I don't know. It's amazing to me that all of you have taken time out of your day or night or whatever to be here and just watch me talk about the game and take part in the discussions here. So it's great. Like I said before, it's great to see the community growing. I love y'all. Oh, thank you so much, man. Squishies 2 Romies. Squishiest. That's a word, isn't it? Look at that. Me and the English language, we just gel. Squishiest of either Romies or Romies. Thank you very much for that follow. Ah, that is you, Roman. Well, thank you very much. You are the squishiest. Oh, well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let's check out some reports. It looks like we were doing pretty well. Ooh. Hi there, Mr. Haldir. You can go home now. Oh. I mean, that was all right. Could have done better, to be honest. 190 didn't even break the 200,000 mark. That's really? Oh, he was on the crossing. Okay, I was like, wow. Why was it hitting a level 17? That makes no sense. And Mr. Syntax, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, see, they took out another 2 forts of ours. Well, screw them. Yeah, I'm definitely hitting them then. Just keep this up. Screw you guys. I'm not going home. You're going home. Hey, thank you so much for that follow. Katura? Or Katura? I always try and throw out whatever pronunciations I can muster thinking of for names that I'm not certain about. Because I don't want to inadvertently offend. But sometimes you can't really tell. Language is hard sometimes. Looking at all those battle reports, and I want to cry because every time I send in mine in battle, they just lay on the ground and die. I mean, I will say, a level 50 Theoden, or level 50 Doug, you can't, there's not a lot you can do. As long as you put mounted units on your level 50 Doug, and have your skills looking pretty much like this, there's not a lot you can do to screw things up. This is not, especially if you're Rohan using marshals, this is just a bad day for anyone that comes up against it. And then a level 39 Aragorn, that wouldn't be very nice to come up against. These guys probably have some ranged units. That's why I've got the Dunedains. Some of those ranged units are probably Bonites, which is why I've got the dudes here. I guess those are the dunes, those are the dudes. And then I've got these guys because they just do a lot of damage. So he wouldn't be too nice to come up against. I've got him with his healing tree going. So he can do all right. But I mean, we only had that one guy to fight. Kind of sad, to be honest. So we'll just keep smashing away at the crossing. I mean, I guess we're still at war. Maybe we'll take it. Let's fucking solo the crossing. Why not? Actually, we got 2 more slots. Let's solo the crossing. Let's see if we can. That would be pretty funny, wouldn't it? Everyone just sitting on their asses. Be like, all right, let's do it. Charge. Leroy Jenkins. Just call me AJ Jenkins. How about that? You can take some of them too. Why not? Have a happy. Who else do we got that's Sure. You can take some guys. You can take some of them and some of them and some of them. That'll work. All right. Yeah, why not? You can take some things. Sure. You can do the same. Well, no, you can take some of them just in case. And some of them. All right. That should be all right. We got a bunch of guys now. So, charge. Charge the barge. There. I think that's everyone we had loaded up, isn't it? Yeah. All right. And looks like Haldir actually needs a refill when he gets done. So, cool. What is the damage output on your Theoden's army now? Last time it was around 200k. Yeah, that's what we did here, was like 196. And as I actually said, I felt like it was a little low. Not breaking the 200,000 mark at this point, I'm kind of like, eh. I mean, like in total, they received 248,000, but I would have been happier to see that up over the 200k at this point. Yeah, I don't know really what would have done it. Maybe these guys just have low HP. I don't know. A higher level probably would have had it. Still, around the 200,000 though. That's just me being nitpicky. Alright, you're taking too long. Go home. Yeah, I may have said I'm boycotting the store, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to use gems that I already have. I'm just not actually purchasing anything further until this change is done with. Something to look forward to with your Theoden. Yes, you do. He is really good. Where'd Haldir go? Haldir. You need a refill. There we go. Yeah, yeah, sure. Sounds good to me. And recharge. Oh man, oh man. Man, oh man. What a day it was on the Discord. Like, just watching all the different comments flood in. That friggin' suggestions page just blew up. It was such a gradual build at first this morning, too. There was like a few people popping in, like, is this true? I heard this thing. And all of a sudden it was just like, no, 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 no. Are we able to change names? I don't believe so, Roman. Once you have chosen your name at the beginning, it's locked in. I think they do tell you that too, so. This is the problem I have now. I am Erebor, but my faction is dead. All my armies are set up for dwarves. I am crying. I hate it. The Iron Warriors are the best in the game. They're really good. Yeah, they have like they have crazy defense. They do a decent amount of damage themselves. but your faction itself is dead, eh? That's rough. You can always try and figure out where you might be able to hit people with guerrilla tactics type thing, like hit and run type things, just be a little annoyance. Other than that, you know, you might be able to just grind out respect levels. It is rough being in that situation. Because I kind of want to change it just to be a nuisance. Well, they may end up implementing that at some point. But yeah, as of right now, I don't think there's any way to change your name. Like a name change token, that would be an easy thing to implement, and they could charge, you know, some gems for it or whatever if they wanted to. I imagine the thing would sell, especially for any of those players that weren't really paying attention and just hit the OK button and are now known as Tactician 1972. Zon, you think it's worth starting from 0 if you want to play with your friends? Got so many commanders now, would be kind of sad. Throw that all away. But on the other hand, with friends, I think it's worth. You know, the real thing you got to ask, I think, with that, Zon, is do you see enough potential, even if you're on a less than ideal server right now, you know, in a less than ideal situation, do you maybe see enough potential to enjoy the game that you feel like the time investment with your friends, like you said, would be worth it? Because you know that you're going to eventually get back to the point you're at now. You're always going to have the option to go back to whatever server your main stuff gets merged onto. You know, that may take a while, and who knows, maybe by the time you go back, your original account will have been merged with 2 or 3 different servers, and it'll be a completely new environment when you go back to that one, and you'll still have all of those commanders with all of those respect levels available to use again. So it's never necessarily a waste. It's only a waste if you never end up going back to where that account is located and making use of those things. But like for me, you know, as I was saying earlier, if I had to restart my Mordor account, even though I've got, thank you very much, Ryan, for that follow. I appreciate it. Even if with my 4 Mordor commanders, I know that's not a lot, but still, it's 4 commanders that I've worked on a little bit. But even if I had to start my Mordor account on a completely new server and sacrifice those commanders in order to, you know, join up with more of you guys and be able to organize a larger group for the greater enjoyment of people, or to get more people involved, for me, that would be worth it, because I know I would end up investing the time. And again, I know I'd get back to the point that I had been at. And it doesn't take that long. Again, I mean, and it's easier maybe for me to speak on that because I have played through some betas and I've literally gone through it. Yes, I got a gem refund, but I have invested time into many, many commanders that I now just do not have. I don't have those level 50s. I don't have those respect levels. I don't have those gear. I have new ones that I've now worked on and obtained, but I don't have all those old ones. All those old ones that I liked and loved and had grown to know their ins and outs and things like that. So I know what it's like to start from 0. And I've gotten back. I've come back to strength. And sorry, I think I missed a few more things. Is prestige still just for bragging rights? Yeah, for now, Roman, prestige is still just bragging rights. Syntax, I swapped servers and picked Rohan. I feel at home now. Made a couple of friends ever since I joined Rohan too. I'm so happy. That is great to hear, Syntax. David Moore, I have 17 hours left to decide if I want to change factions. I'm debating on Elves or Gondor. Swan Knights are decent in place of Iron Warriors. I really don't... I wouldn't suggest changing factions this late in the server, man. Like this late in the season. You're going to lose so much. You get reset to 0 power per hour, David. Your troops get converted, but they lose all their upgrades. It's a huge, huge cost to actually change factions this late in a season. It also costs 1,500 gems. So... if I go elves, it makes Gimli worthless. No, it doesn't. Gimli still works really well with guardians and elven units. Like guardians and march wardens, that's a great combination on Gimli. Going Gondor weakens your Gimli more, yeah. Because then you're relying on bow knights and guardians. But that is still a very viable combination. Guardians are a very good second to Iron Warriors. Ryan, I've got a group of 45 members all in Discord that just started fresh together today and it feels amazing. Can I give the link to anyone here interested to join us? Yeah, I don't mind. I don't know if I've got the permissions set up, to be honest. But if you join my Discord server, I think the Nightbot throws the link up every now and then. You can throw the link up there, and anyone that wants to join, yeah, there we go. Yeah, Syntax, I agree with you there. You know, like you said, you threw away that $200, but it, you know, only if you never go back and use them again. But you may go back and use that account at some point, and at which case you will still have those things. At least if you start from scratch and lose everything, you have something to look forward to. You have become more experienced, so progression will go faster that time around. That's the way to look at it, Syntax. I actually had a quote of the day on one of my streams not that long ago from Nelson Mandela, I believe it was. The quote was, "I never lose. I either win or I learn." And, you know, that's a really important thing, like attitude to take, I think. You know, even if you don't come out of a situation in the ideal circumstances, can you learn something from it going forward at least? Is there some silver lining you can try and take from it? Send that. I'd love it. A guy here shared your video about your thoughts on season 2. Awesome. Cool. So there is that your Discord link for your group, Ryan? There we go. Our Gondor server, we started about 10 hours ago. Yep. So there we go. If anyone is looking for a new server to join, you can join up if you're interested in Gondor. Join up on this Discord server here. And Ryan's got everyone covered. Thank you very much for that. Andreas got blessed with an Elrond Tier 3 invite, hoping he will be good. I think Elrond has the potential to be very good. Yeah, no problem, Ryan. Like I said, thank you. If it's gonna, you know, if you're basically just offering to help people try and enjoy the game more, I'm all for it, man. But yeah, Elrond. We'll take a look at him. because he had Convener, I think it was. Yeah, I knew he had Convener here on Respect 1, which is always a great skill. Allowing your allied units to attack twice as well as gaining initiative. That's a really good skill. Lord of Amaldris here. This does a lot of damage, and then the fact that it's going to prioritize ranged units at max. Prioritizing ranged units, I think people take it for granted or just don't give it enough credit. Prioritizing ranged units in a fight is huge. They are always the biggest damage dealers. If you go and look at all the units, the ranged units, okay, maybe it was a generalization, but I would safely say 9 times out of 10, the ranged units are going to be the ones in a composition dealing the heavy damage. And so anytime I can prioritize ranged units, I do. Rush, there we go. It's just another damage dealing ability. The half-elven tree, it's good because it gives this to you. But honestly, Boon and half-elven themselves, because it's an either-or, I personally don't like it. Although you get Might and 10 both getting an increase, or Might and Focus, sorry, both getting a 10-point increase at max, so. But then White Council, it can allow your allies to do more damage to, the main units you're going to face, and then that paired up with Convener is going to allow people, your main unit compositions to be tearing people apart. And then at, Respect 5. Why is this being so laggy all of a sudden? There we go. Yeah, allied elves, damage dealt, increased. There we go, gets a good heal at Respect 5. And then Starlight, yeah, Orcs, Uruk-hai, and Trolls again, just increasing the damage dealt. So Elrond can be really good. Even at Respect 1, this tree is definitely worth maxing out, in my opinion. At, Respect 0 or Respect 1, this tree is worth maxing out. Max out the title, get both of these. And then if you never get them to Respect 3, then yeah, sure, you can, put extra points down here because it's better to have it than not. But I do think he has better things to offer in the later trees. Going to be a good commander, though. There you go, Syntax. Yeah, snipers hit hard. So yeah, I guess we didn't even bring much attention to it when it happened, but we soloed the crossing, so there we go. Weren't even really planning on doing anything tonight, and we soloed a crossing. What's up, man? Please withdraw from our side of the crossing. We are not under a formal 1-hour PvP event. I'm scaring the elves. Alright, we'll pull back. We scared him. That's good enough. Yeah, no problem, Andreas. Again, congrats on pulling him, man. Oh, well. We got 26 minutes, but who's counting? I mean, even though it was an impromptu surprise stream, I figured I'd try and at least stick to the normal schedule. Started at 10 there, ended at 1, so any thoughts on the developer's choice to go with square tiles and not hexagonal or hexagon tiles? I mean, I personally don't care one way or the other which they use. But it seems like the reason they might have done it is just because of, I mean, I'm sure had they based it off hexagonal patterns, then everything would have been based off it. But like right now, they've got these large tiles set up as 2x2s, which is much easier and cleaner to show with square tiles than it is with hexagons. You couldn't have this same kind of clean representation. And then also with the relocation function, using 3x3 tiles, it's a very clean, simple way, kind of intuitive way to explain the areas. I understand, using a hexagonal pattern probably would have allowed for more densely packed tiles. But again, I don't think it would have allowed for such clean, simple translation for things like 200s, structures, stuff like that. But yeah, this is a great time for anyone else that has questions, thoughts, things like that. I've basically done what I was going to do tonight. Solo crossing, I'm happy with that. Arwen is still just doing her mock battle thing for half an hour. So if anyone's got questions, comments, concerns, just wants to call me ugly, the floor is yours. I'm just sitting here chatting. Going to be addressing whatever I see. And if I think of something to do in the game, then yeah, I'll do it. Like I probably got timers and stuff I can go at. But like this is the point I'm at right now with this server and this season is I don't freaking care. I'm just like, whatever. I wrote this season off at the beginning of it anyway. By the way, I really wish Corsairs were ranged units. They would have worked so well with AK, his Raider title. Same goes for Alchemists. The only units that benefit from that are Uruk Archers. Yeah, I actually felt the same syntax where it was like, there's nothing that benefits. And so they either need a ranged burn unit, like you said, either turn the Corsairs or the Alchemists, and the Corsairs would probably make more sense. Make them a ranged unit, and then you could pair them up with AK. But yeah, I was on the we do have the same kind of wavelength that way, it seems, because I was thinking the exact same thing with him, that God, that Raider title is good, but he doesn't have any units that can really make use of it. What commanders do I hope or think could be put in the game? Yeah, this is something I've struggled with when talking to people about, units and commanders that they could add. Because it all depends on, I guess, how lore accurate they want to be. Do they want to just make stuff up? There are characters like Agzok who weren't really mentioned at all that are in the game. There are commanders like Gil-galad who aren't really part of this timeline that are in the game. So we got Gandalf the White and Gandalf the Gray, both existing at the same time. That's a little bit weird. Same with King Aragorn and non-King Aragorn, like one or the other type thing. So the argument that people are making that, well, they can't add certain commanders because it wouldn't be lore accurate. It's like, yeah, well, they don't 100% care about being lore accurate. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'd be open to pretty much any commanders, to be honest. I'm not strict on that. I think there needs to be at least 4 more evil commanders added before any others, because right now there are 27 good commanders and 23 evil commanders. So again, that just goes to the natural balance issues that I talk about, where like let's make sure the basic numbers are balanced first. Let's have an equal number of commanders available to good players as there are evil players, and let's have an equal number of factions available to good and evil players. If we're not at least starting from a balanced point, we got no hope. So, like I said, other than that, as long as the numbers stay balanced on both sides, I really don't care if they had like Bozo the Clown as a commander for the good side, and Pennywise as a commander for the evil side. Whatever. I'll run with it. My suspension of disbelief will just kick right in. But it's more about balance to me. As long as the numbers are balanced, I don't really care. Spend out another chunk of ability points before you sleep, or you will cap. Yeah, good call. Good call. All right, let's get some cash too, because we don't want that to go to waste. What do we want to do with our ability points? I mean, we could just send somebody else on a mock battle somewhere. Although I don't have any tiles around here worthwhile. Is there a 300 somewhere I can try and take? That'd be entertaining. That just reminded me, Lady C, I don't think you've been around the last couple of streams to remind me to finish off the stream on a 200 or something at least, because I don't think I've done that the last couple of streams. I think I've slacked. I don't think there's a 300 around. Not even like a 260 or something. They've all been taken. God damn it. Yeah, that one's been taken. Well, I'll keep looking for that, but putting aside the current situation, in which special chest would you try to go full? You definitely want to try and max out whatever the special commander is that they offer at the beginning. So for the good units, Gandalf the Gray. For the evil units, Lurtz. Other than that, I personally don't have any recommendations. It's all about what commanders you want. If there's a certain commander that you really want and there's a special chest for him or her, or them, whatever the language I have to use is, then you go ahead and spend your Matham coins there if you want. If you want to spend them on the free or on the normal chests, I'm not going to say it's a wrong decision. I don't spend mine on many of the special chests, to be honest. I just go with the normal rare treasures. Can you tell me more what happens in Season 2? You mentioned the merge of servers. So Borzy Prime, yes. What we've heard so far is that once multiple servers have their seasonal objectives complete, then at some point the devs will decide to end the season, and there will be multiple servers merged. I think it's only going to be like 2 servers will be paired up type thing and merged into a new one. But that's going to happen to multiple pairs of servers, I believe. From what we've gathered, there will be a massive purge of inactive players at that point. So anyone that has, low-level accounts that haven't gone through the tutorials, or I don't know what the cutoff is going to be, but apparently there will be a massive inactive purge to make room for all of the players. But I imagine there might even be a server size increase, considering that's going to be 2 servers into one. But when the season rolls over, you get to keep all of your commanders, respect levels, and gear that you have currently obtained. They're normal levels that you would like put into your ability points. Those all get reset. Your tiles get reset. Any items that don't have, or any items with a seasonal mark, which is a little clock. Yeah, this little clock icon means that it's only usable in this current season. So you can see here, these speed ups will actually carry over. If I don't use these, then these will carry over with me into the next season. But all of these ones are going to expire at the end of this season if I don't use them. These are all going to carry over. These are all going to carry over. And these are all going to carry over. But anything with this little clock goes bye-bye if you don't use it. And apparently, yeah, I do have Gandalf the Gray. Apparently, as it stands right now, if you are a good player right now, like I am, and have all these good commanders, and I choose to go evil next season, I will still have all these commanders at my disposal, which is ridiculous. That's the issue that we're talking about tonight. But here's my Gandalf the Gray. Gandalf the Gray, whatever. He's not really up there yet, only at level 22. But as you can see, I have focused on his focus and his might a little bit. But the build that I'm going for was I maxed out Mithrandir right away to get some damage mitigation as well as avoidance. Convener, the same thing I said on Elrond, giving all my allied units initiative and 75% chance to attack twice each round. I went 1 point into Wizard at Respect 3 just so I could get this stun. And I'm working on maxing out the Gray to make use of his healing, at which point I can also take Blindside for another stun if I want, or Fleeting Movements for more avoidance. But I may end up coming over into White Council. Thank you very much for that follow. I do appreciate it. The real Tabby 44. But yeah, I may end up coming over into the Gray and making, or sorry, the White Council and making use of this tree. Not that one. Yeah, because he's got this here where he reduces the damage received for all your allied units and increases the damage done to orcs, urukai, and trolls. But this is the main build I'm going for right now. Was the Mithrandir with Convener, the Gray. I may end up taking Free Peoples to reduce the damage received. That's how I like my Gandalf to go. Do I have King of Men or Galadriel? I have both. Is there something you were looking for specifically, the real Tabby? Hey, not a problem, Borzy. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't, like David, I wasn't certain about the level 5, the Respect 5 tree on Gandalf. But Mithrandir and the Gray, definitely going with those. And then, yeah, like the Wizard, I only take 1 point into it right away for the stun. And then once I get this maxed out, and maybe Fleeting Movements, I'll probably pump more points into it just for the defense reduction. And then if I can max it and get that extra 15 focus, that'll be nice. Surge is good, if you can get it. Well, thank you very much, Savage Tuvia. I do appreciate the follow. If you have any questions, we're still running for about 10 minutes here. Feel free to throw them out there in the chat. I'll try and help if I can. Be curious on their builds as well. I have them, but not sure what to do. All right. Well, Galadriel's an easier one to talk about. No, they're both actually pretty easy. But Galadriel, this is what was suggested to me when I asked a more experienced player that had used Galadriel quite a bit in the beta, you want to go for her focus damage tree up here. She does a ton of focus damage with these 3 skills. Once you get that maxed out, then you can come down into the Lady of Lorien to increase the recovery and start increasing Parting Gift as well. Purity, it's worth at least 1 point. You can put more points into this depending on how much you value getting rid of debuffs. But then she also has White Council. Respect 5 though, she really increases her healing abilities because she gets this Ring of Water. And so, as you can see, it's got a pretty low cooldown, and it recovers HP for 1 allied unit, and then gets a 50% chance of recovering additional HP. And then she gets Magical Barrier here, which just increases the defense of your army, and it modifies that by the focus stat, which is always nice. So she can provide a lot of damage mitigation with some healing on top of it, but then throws out a ton of focus damage. And for her, sorry, I'll show you my stats here. As you can see, like, you want to go pretty much all focus for her to really make use of that focus damage. And then Aragorn, King of Men, he's kind of the opposite. You want to go might, but he does have a heal, so focus is nice. But then he also kind of likes speed. He's a more balanced commander that way. For me personally, I went with his LSR healing tree as well as Exorbitance initially. Mainly because I know what Andoril does, and I was just curious to see what kind of healing this provides. It's okay. I don't think it's anything amazing, but it's better than nothing, that's for sure. The Exorbitance tree is nice though, gives all your allied units another 14% damage. You do get Elven Blessing here, which also recovers HP, modified by the focus stat with a 50% chance of reactivating. So I mean, once this is maxed out, then he gets a bit better with his heals. But once I got these 2 maxed, I did come up into Andoril and get it maxed out because you can't pass up 300% damage. Call the Weak is nice. It's the same as the basic Aragorn build at that point. So, like I said, the big difference with this guy is he's got the heals down here. I don't find, this is a controversial opinion, I think, but I actually consider the original Aragorn better than King Aragorn at Respect 5, because at Respect 5, this guy, when your men are affected by stun or madness, they receive less damage. Well, that's lovely. How about my men just gain stun immunity instead for a single point into this ability? All my men gain stun immunity, just blanketed. Screw reducing the damage. I'll just be immune to it, thank you very much. So, yeah, some people think that's a controversial point when I say it, but in a way, I actually do consider original Aragorn better than King Aragorn. Oh, you have her at Respect 3? Well, there you go. Like I said, the Respect 3 tree for her isn't great. It's the same as, I think, Gandalf's. It's White Council, I think. But Respect 5, she definitely picks her healing up. But for now, the focus damage is going to be big for her. Do not sleep on the damage reduction in Mithrandil tree. It's one of the best abilities he has. Yep. Is that... Because damage reduction is another one that is... Yeah, this one here, eh? Yeah. It's one that's underappreciated, is damage reduction. But I was going to at least max out the heals. Like max out the gray so I can get the 15 extra focus. And then I was probably going to start working on this. But I definitely want to get this maxed out first. Yeah, not a problem, Tabby. Glad I could help. Alrighty. I think we're getting to about that time. We're going to start wrapping things up here. Thank you all once again for joining me, taking time out of your day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever it is, to join us here and be part of the discussion. I always appreciate the support and the company. It's great to see all the varying opinions on what's happening, the different thoughts, suggestions, all the different connections being made. So hopefully things work out. Like I said, I'm excited for next season. So going Mordor, that's going to be fun. As always now, thank you so much to my patrons, Lady C, William Connor, King Dead, Cody Reagan. Thank you all. Thank you guys so much. I couldn't do this without you guys. If you are enjoying the content, if you want to help support the channel, you can now do so as well at patreon.com/AJMcGamer. I don't expect it, but everything helps and is appreciated, and it's all for you guys. So with all that being said, once again, thank you very much, and good luck to whatever battlefield, or good luck on whatever battlefield you find yourself. I think that's how I usually do it. Something like that. Again, I'm not totally into the usual format tonight. So we'll just say a hearty goodbye. And thank you all for being here. That's not the transition button. That's the transition button. Peace out, everyone.